All right, what's going on, boys? Today we have some big news. We're finally getting information about MXGP 24, which is what the game will officially be called. This was an article that was just posted maybe half an hour ago by Thomas Harrison Lord, September 13th, 2024. So just like half hour ago. I will leave a link to this article down below in the description in case you want to read it for yourselves, in case I miss anything, that sort of stuff. So in this video, we get a release date, some screenshots, and just a bunch of information that I guess Thomas was able to get for us. So set for release before the end of 2024, this is the first official MXGP game by Nakon in KT Racing and marks the start of a fresh beginning for the off-road motorcycle video game series. Here we have our first screenshot. Maxime Renault here, and it looks like Ruben Fernandez in the background. You can see Hurling there, Valandrin. I'm trying to mark out. Is that Jamie Seaver in the background there? So right away, I can tell that I guess the number of fonts aren't finished, which is whatever. The game is going to release in a couple months. That can be changed. The flames up here look pretty nice after the whole shot. I don't think that was a feature in any of the other MXGP games, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was just in Supercross titles after you won. But yeah, the graphics look decent so far. Judging off the first picture, I think you can kind of tell that the rider physics look a little bit similar to the last MXGP game, but definitely different. So as we go down, the FIM Motocross World Championship has been missing an official video game for nearly 3 years. So I think December 2021 was when the last one was released. But 2 months from now, that will mercifully no longer be the case, thank the Lord. So fans of the premier off-road motorcycle have been birth, I don't know what that word is, of a virtual experience since MXGP 21 released in November. Oh, November, okay. Yeah, by Milestone and Unreal Engine. So I'm glad that Milestone isn't making these games anymore. I think a new developer was needed. So Nakon or KT, who the hell is it? Nakon and KT Racing. So I'm glad these guys got an opportunity because we needed a change. So here's the first official screenshot of the cover. This is, I guess, is what it's going to be like. You have Hurlings, Fevre, and I think that's Jorge Prado, I'm guessing. It would have been cool to see maybe DeWolf on there as well or something, but still a pretty clean looking cover. They usually deliver with these. This is actually one of my favorite ones now that I'm looking at it. Behind the scenes, the rights to make the licensed bike title have changed hands. Now moving to Kyla Toon KT Racing under the Nakon umbrella or NASA. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm kind of dumb, but Unreal has been jettisoned too. I've never seen that word before. I'm stupid. So the Unreal Engine has been replaced by the French's company KT Engine, so I guess a new engine. That is the same tool set that powers the Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, which will receive road-going motorcycles at a later date. Perhaps more... Okay, so this is talking about another game, I believe. We start from scratch at KT, and we try to keep similar things as before, but add our own take, said a Nakon representative to Traction. Okay, so they're going to kind of keep the same format, probably, and similar things, but just put their own twist on it, which... it's not a bad idea. I like to say the development has been 10 months so far at the beginning of time of speaking. So I don't know when he spoke to these guys, so it could have been this game could be an over a year in development, we don't really know. During our hands-off preview session at the German Gamescom event, despite the version we were shown far from final, bike detail looked more than up to matching, or even exceeding past MXGP installments. The track recreation looked authentic, on the surface matching real world counterparts, down to the trackside sponsor vehicles and marshals waving yellow flags. That's pretty cool. Each has been recreated using photogrammetry to says Nakon, 10 centimeter precision. So I'm guessing that means we're going to have more realistic looking tracks, or I guess track scaling, which is good, because some tracks have definitely been off in some of the games. So that is good to see. And here we have a screenshot of Michael Harrop on the Triumph, Kai DeWolf on his Husqvarna, and I think Kenda McClellan in there, and that could be Andre Adamo or Sasha Kunin or Liam Everts back there, and maybe I can't tell who that guy's in the Yamaha. So we get a Marshall, so probably basic looking stuff as before. Not too much to take away from this. It looks like you can kind of see some terrain deforming, so hopefully we do feel that. But the bike graphics and stuff look pretty good. I think it looks very similar to what we've seen in the past, but maybe when it comes to the final product, it will be slightly improved. So it's looking good so far. The surface notably deformed when our rider repeatedly rode over the dirt sections, something the development team is particularly proud of. The dynamic system impacts the physics of your AI-controlled rivals. So that's cool. The terrain deformation will actually affect AI, is what they're claiming, because in previous games like MXGP 21, The AI just cheated their whole way, and any other game really, if the AI just cheat through trained information, it doesn't affect them. So this could be really the first time we really see that, so that's cool. Weather is not changeable mid-race, but you can select from a mixture of conditions, including rain. That's not too big of a deal because you'd have to do a pretty long race to notice the weather changing, so that's not bad. It's good that they included rain again, and hopefully they can make it look pretty sexy. We couldn't help but notice a familiar KT engine quirk of the surrounding environment, and then in the distance, looking decidedly featureless. So I'm guessing that's kind of like there's not too much going on in the background, which isn't a big deal. You don't really notice that unless you're exploring. Sometimes you can kind of tell if you just look out in the distance when you're racing, but that's not the end of the world as long as they have some stuff out there. Detailed career mode. It will feature quick race, time attack, and season modes as expected alongside a fleshed out career mode. So I'm assuming that means they're kind of revamping it as well, but it might not be too much different. Its structure seems reminiscent of Overpass 2, a game published by Nacon last year, and also KT Racing's 2022 World Rally Championships Generations. I think that's what that means. Also reminiscent of the latter game is the ability to customize rider stickers, more of which unlock as you earn experience points and advance through levels. I'm not sure what rider stickers will be. I don't know if that's like a calling card like in Call of Duty, or that's like a sticker you can put on your ass. I don't know what that is exactly. The structure requires creating a unique rider and visiting a centralized home hub after each round of a season. So that's kind of like MXGP 2014, I'm guessing. So that's pretty cool that that thing's kind of back. I hope that's what that means and it's not just like a basic screen. There's a calendar system, a social media feed, plus branching development paths for both rider and team abilities. So that's kind of cool. It looks like we're getting an upgrade feature. I don't think we've had that in any MXGP game. Maybe MXGP 3, but that didn't really affect the rider from what I could test. So yeah, it's cool that we're getting like a development path or whatever. You started a series of junior races for a fictional team before signing up to a real world and a real world only MX2 team. Ultimately, the aim is to progress further and become an FIM MXGP World Champion. So that's pretty cool. We start in junior races, so it looks like before you would do 2 wildcard races with the MX2 riders, and it was a little weird. And then you start the MX2 season. So it looks like we're getting like a little junior series, kind of like how they have the EMX, I believe is what it's called. I don't know if it'll just be 2 rounds. Hopefully it's a bit more in depth than that. And then we sign with a real world only MX2 team. So it looks like they might have gotten rid of the custom team, at least at the start of the career. And here we have another screenshot of Renault. Again, his number fun's looking a little weird. It's kind of hard. It's a little blurry, so I can't really see too much. I think that's Valandrin again. I'm not sure who 87 is. Maybe these are just privateers. That's pretty cool. But again, the dirt looks pretty nice. The bike or the rider looks decent. I'm a little worried that maybe the rider will look a bit rigid when you're playing, kind of like how it was in MXGP 21, but I could be very wrong with that. It's just pictures, so it's hard to really judge. But so far, it looks pretty promising with the graphics. We can't speak to the physics yet. We didn't ride the game ourselves, but we did see a customized setup screen for motorcycle settings. What wasn't present during our time with the game were scrubs or whips, but we were told they would be included at launch. So I'm assuming it's going to be similar to how the last few milestone games were, or any of them really, where you just push your sticks apart and you guide to the scrub or whip. But hopefully it's kind of like what Legends did, where you can, it's like a free whip system. That's what we're all hoping for, but I wouldn't count on that really. We want the game to be like a simulation, but have help with assists to make it more accessible for the rider, and continued Nikon. So I think that's kind of what MXGP Pro did, where they wanted to be more like a simulator, but not fully. So it's like kind of difficult, I guess, but also not too crazy. So hopefully that means that the game is just not slippery like how the last simulator MXGP game was. We'll see though. So unique online multiplayer mode. Perhaps in a surprising move, online multiplayer will not see a traditional lobby browser or creation system. So that's very weird. With the stated aim of simplifying the process and avoiding waiting times for a race, instead there is a daily challenge mode. The development team sets up the format every 24 hours and you try to beat your score against up to 9 other players. So this has me a little concerned. I hope you can create a private match. If they took private match out, that is a questionable decision. I'm not too necessarily upset about lobby browser being taken away. I think if you just join a quick race, that's fine. But the lobby browser, that's a little questionable. I think they could have left that in there, but we'll see how this challenge mode or whatever goes. Maybe it's going to be win 3 races, or I don't know, get 10 hole shots, whatever the case may be, or set the fastest lap in qualifying. Who knows what these challenges will be. So I'm a little concerned about that. I never was really an online player, but that might push some players away, especially if they took out like an online championship mode, etc. And that also has me a bit concerned because maybe I think that kind of confirms that crossplay might not be a thing if there's no like lobby creation thing. I don't know. We will have to see, but I hope crossplay's in here. I really do. It would just make more lobbies doable. I think this might be like a custom rider here. I can't really tell. But the dirt texture on the number plates look really cool. Looks like they kind of reworked that system. You can kind of see some terrain deformation here. Hopefully, again, it really affects the rider. And you got his boot out looking nice. He's looking ahead, looking pretty clean. Not gonna lie, looks good. Open world area. So yeah, this is like the compound basically. Alongside actual MXGP venues sits a 4-kilometer open world environment. It's not based on anywhere specifically, aiming to simply be European. It's a luscious area with lakes, forests, farmers, and a quarry. Ooh, farmers. So is there going to be people on there? That's kind of interesting. Inside there will be 6 tracks to also mess around on. There are plans to include some varied game modes such as last person standing and hidden letters to collect. So 6 tracks. I don't think we've ever had that many before, but hopefully they're good. So I think that's going to be a pretty big compound, so I'm excited for that. The collectibles, I like that idea. It gives you something to explore for a bit. Maybe unlock a skin or whatever, some gear. Last person standing, I hope that kind of goes in online mode and not just like the compound. This kind of reminds me of MX vs ATV Reflex in the career. Some of the races are like last person standing, where you do a lap and the guy in last gets eliminated and it goes until somebody wins. I think that's what this mode means, so hopefully that's like an online mode and not just for the compound. There's more to discover here, and once again, what we saw was very obviously an earlier build, not representative of the final product. However, considering the time constraints placed upon the creation team, the potential is obvious. More importantly, there is a new official MXGP game and it's set to arrive sooner rather than later. So I think that just means MXGP 24, I'm guessing, because I doubt they'd release one like less than a year later. So basically, I think this is saying that Nakon looks promising with their development. And here we have, I believe that's Ruben Fernandez or Tim Geiser, Hurlings, and then the fans. It's hard to see. I don't think I see anybody wearing the exact same thing. Maybe these two guys. Oh, this guy's actually on his phone, I believe. So that's intro. Oh, they have phones? I don't think that was in previous games. That's pretty cool if that's what that is. Here you can see more train deformation. It's hard. I'm trying to find stuff in the background. I don't know what track this is actually. This kind of looks like Lommel actually. I'm not too sure. A lot of fans, windmills. The environment looks pretty good on this track. It's hard to really tell if there's like full-on ruts, but graphics and the dirt and everything looks pretty good. 21 circuits and more than 50 drivers from 2 categories. That's pretty cool. So 21 circuits. If we come up here, if we count, there's 20 races they're doing this year. 20 races, okay? And the 21st one is Motocross of Nations. So I think that is a hint that there will be Motocross of Nations in this game, which is really cool. I'm not going to confirm this because obviously it didn't confirm anywhere in this article, but I think this is kind of a little hint that Motocross Nations will be in the new game because this is the 21st round of the season. Overall, everything looks pretty promising, and I hope that we have a terrain deformation system and the online isn't completely ruined, and hopefully it turns out to be really good. I think it looks pretty promising so far. The graphics look pretty good, but other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, take care.